blew us off a couple times last year. But he just was so busy. And then he said, Bruce, I promise after the first year you call me and I'm yours.
Okay.
So I said, okay. And then he said if he could just do 2 segments, that would be great because he's kind of got some things he's working on today. He's an interesting guy. He's been a coach, a general manager, a scout, you know.
Well, tell you what, why don't we do our 2-minute thing?
Oh,
You don't
right.
have to wait for
Sure.
us.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Ah.
All right, let me turn this off. Put it over here. Go. All right.
Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Bruce McGowan, longtime radio sports personality. Now, today's show is going to be fun because we're going to have 2 guests on.
That's right. We're going to have Garry St. Jean, who is a former coach, general manager in the NBA, currently works as a television commentator for the Golden State Warriors. And then later in the show, we're going to be joined by longtime baseball sports writer Barry Bloom of MLB.com, who is back in New York, where the latest Hall of Fame inductees have just been announced, and he'll have some thoughts about that.
It'd be kind of fun. It'd be interesting because a couple of those guys were accused of being on steroids.
That's right. Both Yvonne Rodriguez, Pudge Rodriguez, and Jeff Bagwell were long suspected of being steroid users, but neither one of them really, for whatever reason, they just weren't pulled out into the public eye like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. So Clemens and Bonds didn't make it, of course, but these 2 guys did.
Yeah, but Barry Bonds moved up the ladder.
He did. He gained about 19 percentage points. So the feeling is he's got 5 more years of eligibility, and the young people that are voting for him today are the people that did not see him play, except for as a fan, because they weren't around when he was playing. They were too young to be working in the media. So their attitude is, well, I didn't see him play, so I didn't see him play as a media member, so I didn't get to know him. So, when you get to know somebody and there's a little friction there, as there was with Bonds and some of the media, I think a lot of that has to do with his behavior towards the media. I really do.
Yeah, and I'd like to ask Barry about that.
Oh, I'm sure he'd have a good story to tell you about that. I got along with him okay, but I know a lot of people who didn't.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Yeah.
All right, at each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. Today's theme is going to be, again, miscellaneous sports. We want to keep you in suspense there. And this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding 7.5% secured by Bay Area real estate. Doesn't get any more conservative than that. They're only about 55% loan to value. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 is going to be right back. Okay, good.
Yeah, I can tell your energy level's a little low.
Yeah.
You still sound good, though.
Oh, thanks.
But it's hard to muster up a lot of enthusiasm and energy when you're... You should take a day where you just don't do anything. Maybe tomorrow.
Actually, the last 2 days.
Oh, did you just lay in bed?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you're feeling better than you did yesterday and the day before.
A little bit. And then tomorrow we'll fly out to see the kids. So,
You know what? The problem with this thing is it saps your strength, and it also, with me, I had no appetite at all. All I wanted to do was have a soup once in a while. That was it.
Yeah, it kind of curbed my appetite too, which for me is actually good. What are they? Starve a cold and feed a fever? I don't know if I got a fever or cold or what.
You have a fever?
I felt a little warm.
I had a little fever.
Yeah.
I had fever, I had cough, had some congestion, a little rawness in the back of the throat.
Yeah.
Malaise, I didn't have any energy.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's got that. I mean, growing up, Dawn's got too, and she never got sick.
Oh, no.
All right, are we ready?
There you go. Let's bring Garry in. The Garrister. Actually, the Saintster. That's what he likes to be called.
Saintster?
Well, the Saint.
Saint.
Saint. Actually, not the Saint. It's the Saint.
Just Saint?
Yeah, just Saint.
Saint. Didn't know if that was like a...
Hopefully he'll pick up. Pick up.
Pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone.
Hello. Is this Saint? It is Edward Brown and Bruce McGowan.
What do you say, Saint?
Hello, fellas.
How about those Warriors last night, huh? God almighty. When are they gonna lose again, Garry? What's going on here?
Grant, not too shabby.
Yeah.
Not too shabby at all. Well, let's get right into it. We're just going to talk a little basketball, and we'll have fun here.
All right, you ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Bruce, who do we have on the phone?
A good friend of mine who has been around the Bay Area for a long time, also worked in the NBA for many years as a coach, a general manager. Currently does pre and post game on television with Comcast for the Golden State Warriors television home broadcasts and road broadcasts. And Garry St. Jean, as we speak, the Warriors just had a very intriguing week of basketball, 2 games in 3 days against 2 of the best teams, arguably, in the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And man, in both these games, they not only won, but they won in impressive fashion. I mean, what's the ceiling for this Warrior team anyway?
Well, fellas, I think we've got a little preview picture of what the playoffs are going to look like come spring. And I thought against Cleveland was the most complete game we've seen all year. Yeah. Defense was superb. We talk always about this defense of deflections, steals, live ball turnovers, and then also getting defensive rebounds. And when this team commits to getting out and running, they're scared, to tell you the truth. And they had, 36 fast break points in the first half. And, just everybody individually played terrific. I thought as a team, they were awesome on both ends of the floor. The ball movement, assists, 38 assists. Just stellar basketball. And then, last night we see OKC come in. There's emotion involved because that's Kevin Cole's team. It's a tight game at the half. But the third quarter, the defense just notches itself up. They play terrific, and they open up the 20-point margin. And Kevin Durant then against his own team, 13 to 16 from the floor. Not a bad night's work.
Not a bad night's work. And one of the things I really love about the Warriors, and I know you feel this way too because you're with them and around them a lot more than I am, but when you go to practice or you go to the pregame or postgame and sit down and listen to Steve Kerr speak, it's really fun because he is so much different and so much more erudite, I guess is the right word, or maybe that's not the right word, worldly than your average coach in any sport. And it's just a joy to talk with a guy. He looks you in the eye. He's genuinely interested in answering your questions. If he doesn't like a question, he'll have fun with you and he'll josh with you. But he's not only a great coach, but he's just a good guy and an interesting guy too.
Well, I think we're very, very fortunate to have him as head coach of this team. I'll share with you guys, I can remember watching him play at Arizona. And what a great career, all the championships, playing with great teams in Chicago and San Antonio. And, I met him through Tommy Tolbert, who played with us with the Warriors in the 90s, and with Judd Buechler. They were teammates at Arizona for Lute Olson. And you knew then there was just a presence about him, just a great guy. And I love his outlook on life, outlook on the game, basketball. He has a platform as a coach. And we don't see a lot of our coaches, talking about the political scene or talking about gun control or, talking about whatever topic is comes up today. And, he wants his players to enjoy the game. He talks about joy and experience. Well, maybe it's kind of unique because I don't know of a lot of other coaches that are having joy like he's having with his team.
Well, when you're winning so much, it definitely helps.
Yeah. It's very, very unique.
Yeah. I love the fact that the other day, for instance, I guess he's been doing this a while now. Tell me if I'm wrong. Instead of having the mandatory or the traditional, afternoon shoot-off where they go to the practice, he took his guys to a place where they did some yoga.
Well, he's done some cool things. One day they thought they were going to have practice, and he brought them into the city, and they had a ping pong tournament.
I love it.
He's done some great stuff, and I think he's taken a lot of pages from Greg Popovich. And his communication. Jackson would give his players a book, and it wouldn't be a generic book. You look at the guy, study him, and you think, what kind of book guy hit the right chord with Michael Jordan or Dennis Rodman, that kind of thing. I think Steve has taken pages from all these different great coaches that he's been around. I mentioned Lute Olson, Lenny Wilkins. I'm going to share with you that he's his own guy, and he's special. I love talking about Steve Kerr on our broadcast because I just think he sets the tone. And we do have a high character They're a great bunch of guys. They play together. They play for each other, and it's great quality.
Yeah, it must be a lot of fun for you when you do television broadcast, because you're working with such a great team, versus if you were, working with Sacramento Kings or something.
Well, I got to share with you guys. I go to Safeway, and some of the ladies are doing their shopping, I'm saying, "Oh, hello, you're smiling a lot." You're doing what I'm doing, watching the best team, the game of basketball, the game I love, and I get to talk about it in this great environment. I'm a lucky guy, and I have those chats whether I'm pumping gas or at Safeway or wherever the heck I am, because I got to tell you guys, Bruce, we've been around the Bay Area, whether it was the Giants time, whether it was the Niners time with Joe Montana and Bill Walsh, the A's with Tony La Russa and that crew. This is the Warriors' time, and they are in the spotlight, not just in the Bay Area. I'm talking about around the country, and they're the biggest name in basketball around the world.
It's a lot of fun to be around them. You're right. And one thing I love about you, Gary, and I don't want to get off on a tangent on this, but you do something that a lot of commentators don't do. That I think everybody tries to bring enthusiasm, but with you, you not only bring the enthusiasm, but you always love to tell little stories and relate to things that you can remember. And I think people appreciate that because it kind of humanizes. Don't you get that impression?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. And I think, is that something that you consciously try to do? Because I think it really connects you well. You and Papa have a great synergy going. Great Papa, the main host. But you guys just really have a good time, and you seem to be able to connect with the viewers very well because you tell these stories.
You guys know, I am very, very fortunate. I work with the best in the business. I like my admiration for Steve Kerr. My admiration for Greg Papa. He's a family man. He could be doing big time national on any of these sports. And we're very fortunate to have him. And he and I go back to when I was with Delhi, started in '89 here. And so we tell stories of that time. But we were talking about different generations, and we were looking at the great teams. And you're talking about comparing this team, maybe the Magic Johnson's team, to the New York Knicks team, to the Boston Celtics team. They had the dates up there, and I said, "Tell us." I said, "See that picture of Bill Russell?" He said, "I was 8 years old. He started their run where they ran 8 straight championships from '58 to '66." And they're looking at me, and I'm saying, "Yeah, I'm that old."
Well, that's good. I mean, it shows that you have the respect for what you got to see as a kid. And when I got we're about the same age, so we both grew up at a time where basketball, the league was much smaller. The players stayed around much longer, and the guys like Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell and Oscar Robertson and Rick Barry were kind of larger than life, weren't they?
No, they really were, because we didn't get to see them on TV very often. We didn't have ESPN back then. Who's helping? When the heck did we start having the CBS Game of the Week, or remember Chris Schenkel with ABC?
Oh yeah.
It really is special that the Bay Area fans, all that can't get the bill, still wrap their arms around this team and embrace it and love what they're doing. And so that's what makes today's game even better than the old days.
Hey, Gary, stay with us. We're going to cut to our second commercial break here. 7 of the 30 teams in the National Hockey League are located in Canada. How many Canadian cities and teams can you identify? That's our question. All right.
All right. See if Gary knows that one.
All right.
I think I know that one.
You think you know it?
I covered some NHL hockey, so I should know that.
There you go. Okay. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Garry St. Jean. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
So what's going on today with you, Gary? What do you got on your radar?
Well, a couple errands this morning, and a couple emails and stuff. And I'm enjoying the singing at the concert, for the inauguration.
Oh yeah, who's going to do the singing?
So,
who's going to sing at the inauguration?
At the Unknown Soldier.
Oh, is that going on right now?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm watching CNN.
That's didn't I think George Bush the elder started that. I believe he was the one who started that tradition of going to the day before you're inaugurated to go to the Tomb of the Unknown. That's kind of cool. That's cool. I like that.
Cool.
I'm glad Trump is at least doing that. You know, that's a good sign.
I'm a big fan of his. He played first base at Yale, and of course my daughter Emily went to Yale, and there's a huge picture of him with his first baseman mitt on.
Don't
there in the gym at Yale.
But word of caution: don't ever say that to Steve Kerr. He does not like Donald Trump. What's that? You're talking about who?
Bush, President
Oh, President Bush. Yeah, I like the older George Bush. I thought he was a classy guy. He's still around, isn't he? He's about 94, 95. He's about my dad. I think he's my dad's age.
And Gary, I'm sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm going to not do too much talking in this.
Whatever works for you guys.
I appreciate you joining us here. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. I do have a question. Okay. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan, and our guest on the phone, Garry St. Jean. So here's our first trivia question. 7 of the 30 teams in the National Hockey League are located in Canada. How many Canadian cities and teams can you identify?
Gary, I don't know if you can answer that one. I'm going to give it a shot, but then let our guest try to answer it first, because be fair.
You guys, I'm not going to get them all, but I can get quite a few because I grew up in Massachusetts. So
Oh yeah, you're a hockey fan. Yeah.
I go back to Bobby Orr and Esposito and those guys. So
Did you go to the old Boston Garden back in the day?
let's go east to west.
Okay.
We've got Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal,
Right.
and then we've got Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Vancouver.
Right.
And we've got, is there a Calgary?
Calgary's there, yeah.
What have I got? 6?
You got 6. The last one is one that I couldn't get originally, but now I remember it's Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's right. Very good.
The Winnipeg Jets. I think that's where.
Did they just come back there?
That was, I believe, I believe Calgary was the team that came back, but I may be wrong. I wish I followed the hockey a little more closely, Gary. I went to the University of Denver, which was a big hockey school, and I had never followed hockey. When I got there, I became a hockey fanatic, and it's interesting. The Sharks, when they came out here, the first 10 years they were here, I was covering them almost as much as I covered the Warriors. But hockey is a different kind of a sport. You really have to. I think you have to. It's like a lot of sports. And tell me if I'm wrong, because you played them all. You have to grow up playing it to really appreciate it and understand it, don't you? Don't you think you do?
Well, you guys watch these great spectacles they have, where they have games in the football and baseball stadium.
Yeah.
And I love that. They go back to the history of playing the game outside. Well, growing up in Massachusetts, I did play on those ponds, or I did play on that flooded rink at the park. And you go home and you couldn't even bend your toes. And so I love the game. I really do it. And I'll say this to you in all honesty, it's harder to watch on TV.
Yeah.
It's a great game to watch in person.
Great game to watch in person. I agree with you totally. I mean, it's one of those games, hockey just doesn't translate well to the screen, even the widescreen. But boy, you go to the game itself, and it's just, to me, I remember going to my first hockey game. It was a college game at the University of Denver, and I just was captivated by it.
I think it's because the way the cameramen, they concentrate on the puck
Yeah.
so much you don't see.
You don't see it too much.
Inside.
One thing about basketball, I have to say, Gary, don't you agree with me on this? And I don't know if Edward does, but the great thing about basketball, there's a lot of action away from the ball, but usually the area of the court is small enough that most of it's not cut off by the camera. So basketball really translates well on the television.
Oh, Bruce, it's the best. I mean, we don't have a helmet on. We don't have a cap on.
Yeah.
You're seeing those guys in the face.
Yeah, the only thing we missed from last night's game, though, that the cameraman missed, and they had to replay it, was when Russell Westbrook traveled. He took 6 steps with the ball.
I'm sitting there with Greg Papa, and I said, "Did you just do that?" It's an absolute shock.
Yeah.
And it took to the 6th step for the penalty.
Gary said, "Ever seen it?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, maybe 2 or 3 steps.
Yeah.
Not 6.
Yeah, that's it.
That was bizarre.
Speaking of Westbrook, that was quite a collision he had with Zaza Pachulia. And Pachulia bumped him and knocked him down. He stood over him, kind of like Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston. I was thinking, oh my God, watch out here, because I mean, it looked like he really low bridged him.
Well, you know what? You back that up 20 feet. It was in the paint. just say it's a hard fall at the open.
Yeah.
But the fact it was a high pick and roll, and Steve Kerr had motioned to the players that they have what we call a fall give before it was in the bonus, so they could get the clock stop, set their defense. So instead of like Iguodala falling, that's off the screen, and Zaza reaches in and he gets the ball, but he hammers him. He hits him hard. There's no doubt about it.
But I don't understand why they called it a shooting foul.
Yeah.
Well, he was. I guess if you watch the replay, you could argue that he was starting his motion. But I don't know about you, Gary. I thought that was really. I think they gave him those shots because they thought it was they said it was a flagrant foul, and you get what is it?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you something. They overreacted, and then to put the frosting on the cake after the game. Westbrook's got to share his educated comments about I'll get him for that.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Is that what he said? Is that what he said?
After the game. And,
Really?
I just listen. I respect him as an athlete. His talents. I love the way he competes. But he plays the game angry.
Westbrook, you're talking about, yeah.
Compare Steve Kerr and Kevin Durant to our guys, and I just didn't think he could go there.
Hey, speaking of Kevin Durant, what has it been like for you to get to know him a little bit? I know he's not the most.
Wow.
I mean, he's such a great player. What is he like as a person off the court? Just a casual, chit chat with the guy.
He's really fun. He's got a great outlook on life. I think he's just loving his decision. I think it was about people. Hey, I'll tell you guys, I'd much rather play with Warrior guys than with Westbrook. Well, down to my mind, I want to be with people that have a really good outlook on life, that are happy, and Steve Kerr always talks about joy, playing the game, and move to the Bay Area. Pretty good choice.
Yeah.
Pretty good choice.
He's a great guy. He's a sharp guy, and I just think he's really enjoying the experience.
Hey, Zane, let me ask you a coaching question. How do you decide when to bench a player for a long period of time versus seeing a slump? Because someone like Verajao has been sitting on the bench for a long time, and he just kind of comes in, to kind of give the players a rest.
What happens in the NBA? Bruce will tell you this: you earn minutes. People don't hand you minutes. And I'll be very honest with you, Barajo's had a really great career. Guys that play with him love him, and he's a great teammate. He's in his role that he should be in now. He's in a reserve role. There's injuries, like David West now has a problem with the thumb. That means that people like him and McGee and those guys are going to play more, but he'll be out of it. He's a great guy to have in that role because he's a team guy. He's not down there complaining and saying, they're not playing me. I'm getting screwed here and that kind of thing. And he's just a good guy. Doesn't have as much left to say as a guy that's in his early 20s has. So that's how you put the team together. That's how Bob Myers and his crew have done.
Hey, who do you like to watch individually? If you had to pick a team, not so much a team, but players to watch on a regular basis outside of the Warriors. Obviously, the Warriors are the best team in the NBA, probably have the most exciting players to watch as a group. But who do you like to, when you have a day off and you want to watch another team play, say in a national game, who do you like to watch?
Well, I really like Kawhi Leonard. I think that a guy who lets his actions do all the speaking for him. And had a great year. He had 4 straight games in the 30s. The Clipper guys, Paul's out now. I've got a lot of respect for him. And you know what Harden is doing down there in Houston is we'll play them tomorrow. He's done a remarkable job. It might be Anthony Bennett. He's given him free reign, moved him over to the point guard, and might be Anthony's done a great job. Bruce, the way they're playing, that's the way we played in 1989 with Mully and Mitch and Simmons. We did. That's what we did. In 1 year, we had 4 games where we scored 150 or more. Warriors haven't even done that.
Yeah, that was a fun team to watch. That must have been a fun team to be a part of. I mean, you mentioned Chris Mullen and Mitch Richmond and Tim Hardaway.
It's amazing because time flies by. My son Gregory, who's 26, is an assistant coach at St. John's with Mitch Richmond, and the head coach is Chris Mullen.
Wow, what a great. That must be fun to go back and visit those guys, huh?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I like that.
There you go. Well, you are.
And you go to the East. You know, I respect LeBron. I really do. Plays the game the right way. He's been a great ambassador for the game. He's had a couple of hiccups with moves to Miami, but by and large, a great player. And you know why I really like that? I like Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas, yeah.
He's leading the league right now in fourth quarter scoring. He's had a heck of a year. You know, it's fun to watch the young players come along. Like I'm big on the young guy Towns up in Minnesota. I think he's got a really bright future.
Porzingis too.
I think the kid Embiid, Philadelphia, who had been out with a problem with his knee, he's emerging. So you know the next generation is coming, and I'll tell you, fellas, the NBA has never been in a more strong position than it is right now.
Yeah, well, you're getting a lot of these international players. You know, Porzingis, he's got a good career. Yeah, he's got a good career.
That's a great thing.
Or Sabonis. Last night we saw the son of the former great Sabonis.
That's right. So, Gary, thank you so much again for joining us. Always welcome here on Sports Econ 101.
Well, fellas, thanks for having me and following those Warriors. I know you guys are talking about them, and it sure is fun to watch them play.
It is indeed. Well, we'll see you out of the game soon, I hope. All right.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
See you, fellas.
Okay.
Take care.
Gary St. Jean, good man and a true basketball lifer.
That's for sure. Okay, here's our second trivia question. This one's a little easier. What? Well, actually, you got it was easy for the last one for you too. The next one I think is going to be a little harder, but anyway, this one here is: what are the last three teams Tony La Russa managed?
Oh, good question. Yeah.
Okay, I think you'll get that one.
Yeah.
You can email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to that question, and don't touch that dial. Sportsecon 101 will be right back.
All right, and we're bring on Bablu. Yeah, Gary's good. He's like Barnett. You know, they're both great storytellers. They're both about the same. Actually, Barnett's a little bit older. Gary's almost 70. Barney's about 72. So
Gary's he's got a good.
got a great outlook on it. He's such a nice guy. I mean, Jim can be a little bit of a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Jim. He's a good guy, but he can be a little bit of a curmudgeon. But there's not a mean bone in Gary's body. He's just you get to know him. He's always like, "Hey, how's it going, man?"
You know, like Vern.
Vern is that way. Vern just lights a room up. I told Vern, I said, one of the big reasons why you will always have work, you're good at what you do, obviously, you have to be, but it's because of your attitude. Yeah. People love being around that. He works his butt off, but he loves people, and he gets along with people.
Yeah.
He's not the kind of person who's going to create trouble. You know, and that's what you got to have. You have his number? You need it?
You gave it to me, so let's see if we can get him on.
Okay. Bablu. He's back in New York City, just like I pictured it.
602, though. Oh,
but he lives in Arizona. Yeah, he's got that cell phone.
I was going to say, I know. That's a cell phone.
The something starring somebody. Hey, Barry, it's Bruce.
Hey, Bruce, what's going on?
Not too much. You ready to go?
Yeah.
We'll just have you on for about 10 minutes and we'll get you in and out.
Thanks so much. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Here was our second trivia question. What are the last three teams Tony La Russa managed?
Well, he only managed for three teams, right?
Yeah, I don't know why it says last teams.
St. Louis, Oakland, and of course the Chicago White Sox.
That's right.
And he won division titles, and well, he didn't win a World Series with Chicago, but he won a division title one year. Anyway, we got Barry Bloom, a longtime sports writer, good friend of mine, and he has been a baseball writer for MLB.com for a number of years, who has been covering the Hall of Fame balloting, which has just been released. Jeff Bagwell and Ivan Rodriguez, and of course Tim Raines, named to the Hall of Fame, along with great executive from Atlanta, John Schuerholz, and the former commissioner But say, look, and Barry, were you surprised at all that Bagwell and Pudge Rodriguez were named, even though there has been a lot of suspicion and that both those guys might have been doing steroids during their career?
Well, no, I mean, I think that's changing, and I saw really kind of open with Piazza last year, and I think a lot of voters are reevaluating it, having their own reasons for why they are. So I think once Piazza went in, especially on sides where there's suspicion but there is no proof, I think that the voters are starting to vote them in.
That lends it to the next question we were going to ask you is about Barry Bonds. You have been one of the few veteran writers who have always stood in his corner. I think you got along with him pretty well. I know I did, and I feel the same way you do. And I don't know however it feels, but I feel he should be in the Hall of Fame based on what he did. Even before he did steroids, he was Hall of Fame worthy. Is it because of his prickly personality that he's being kept out, or is it just because he had the high profile, or never came clean about the whole thing? I mean, I guess it's a number of factors, isn't it?
I mean, you can throw all of that in, but I think generally it's because he and Clemens became the poster boys of the entire steroid era. There was a lot of them in the Mitchell report. Clemens with McNamee and the investigation into him, Bonds, with Malco and the federal investigation into him. Then both of them wound up going to court for one reason or another, by and large on perjury charges that they lied about it. Clemens to Congress, Bonds in a deposition before a federal grand jury, and ultimately both of them got off. But I think that separated them to a completely different class than the Bagwells and Rodriguez's, Piazza.
I got to ask you about those three guys. You mentioned Bagwell and Ivan Rodriguez, and of course Tim Raines, who played for 21 years. Yeah, just your impressions of those three. I remember Bagwell's first game I ever saw. He hit a home run to beat the Giants in the ninth inning, and I thought, wow, that's pretty impressive at Candlestick to do that. And that was a sign of things to come. And of course, we all saw Rodriguez maybe in his seminal moment when he withstood the incredible hit that J.T. Snow put on him and held on to the ball for the final out of the playoffs in 2003. And then of course Tim Raines, although he had some little problems with cocaine off the field, certainly managed to play a long time. What were your impressions, Barry? Because you covered all three of those guys pretty closely, got to know them a little bit peripherally. I would think that you would probably feel that all three were Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, I mean, I voted for all of them. And Bagwell, I was the guy who came around. Every year I put my ballot out on the interwebs and argue it out with fans about my choices. And one year, I wrote it in my blog when I put it out there that I wasn't going to vote for Bagwell because Steve Garry didn't get to the Hall of Fame. Then I got into a whole row with some fans, and one in particular who, we went into, my bar, and he identified himself, and, projected a pretty cogent case about why Bagwell should be in. And I promised him I'd give it a much closer look the next year. And, he was right. I mean, when you look at all these guys, you check themselves, subject them to more advanced metrics that are used today. Couple them with what they call counting stats of RBIs, home runs, and as far as pitchers go, wins and ERA, and you get a different analysis of where they are. And Jim Bagwell stacked very high, among all-time first basemen in a lot of different categories, even though because of his injuries and truncated career, he only lasted 15 years. He didn't really compile the numbers a lot of people did. And neither did Lou Gehrig because of the way his career is. So I decided to start voting for Bagwell. And, Raines was another one, I went too late. I had in a lot of conversations with people who were very much supporters of his. And it gave me a chance to go back and reevaluate Raines, which really to me is the beauty of the whole thing process voting wise because if it was a one and out, a lot of guys wouldn't get elected. You'd have even less people in the Hall of Fame than you do right now. And we've now only voted in 124 of them out of 18,000 players who played Major League Baseball.
Have you ever?
The thing with it is that when you look at what goes on in the current era, and as that evolves, particularly on pitchers, you go back and you look at what was done just 20 years ago, and what those guys' stats and how far they worked in the game. A big argument with me is not diverging here, but the younger set and the analytics set with no value anymore on wins or save dinner. And to me, deeper a starter goes into a game, better chance his team has to win, and he has a chance to get credit with W. That it's no secret. That's why a guy like Kershaw has as many wins as he had 10 years into his career because he just goes deeper into games than almost anybody else. Of course, there's no value on a win. You can only go 6 innings and throw 100 pitches because somebody else is going to get it credited somewhere along the way.
Yeah, it's not fair, but based on who's your coach, because he's the one who's going to be taking you out. Have you ever voted for somebody and then regretted it later, or just had a second thought later on?
As far as a guy who voted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
If somebody who got in or somebody who...
somebody who you voted who got in, and then after a while, maybe the next year or the year after, you see somebody else who probably either should have gotten in or barely got in, and the person who you voted in, you kind of look at them again, you go, gosh, you know what? I probably should have changed my mind on that. Does that ever happen to you? No.
Can't say that. I mean, every person I've voted for every person who's gotten into the Hall of Fame since I started voting in 1992, except for Jim Rice. Jim Rice was the only one I didn't vote for, and when he was 6 votes shy going into his final 15th year of time, I did a lot of soul searching about it, talked to a lot of people, because usually I'm the type of guy who I know my Hall of Fame ballot as soon as I get it in the mail, and I just fill it out and send it out, post it, and in this case I waited to the very end, and it just came down to I just never voted for him before. So why should I vote for him now? He wound up getting into the Hall of Fame. So that's I don't care if neither here nor there to me. I have more regrets about voting for people who others don't vote for. Like Casada in this election, it just sounds to me that he couldn't get more than 17 votes to stay on the ballot, 5%.
Got to ask you about Barry Bonds. His numbers went up appreciably in this last balloting. A lot of that due to the fact, as you mentioned, all that the analytics crowd is younger that didn't have a chance to cover him. They saw him as kids from afar, and they were sort of in awe. And so naturally, they're maybe more inclined to vote for the guy. It seems like he's got 4 more years of eligibility. It seems as if the numbers are indicating that he may have enough by the time 4 years roll along to get in. What's your read on that situation, Barry?
What are we talking about now?
About Bonds, because I think he got 55%. Has he got 5 years left?
Yeah, both he and Clemens have 5.
Okay.
5. Has 6.
What are the chances of them getting in, you think, before the 5 more years run out? Because their numbers are gradually getting more and more in their favor.
Yeah, well, they're going up basically like 10% a year at this point. And, I kind of thought that if both of them settled just around 60% or just below 60%, which is where they were in the tracker, before the election results were announced, I thought that they'd have a pretty good chance of getting in the next 5 years. At 53% is a little tougher. I mean, there's really going to have to be change among the voters who are voting now for it to change. I don't see the voting body changing very much. We'll add a few, and probably lose a few, but I don't see it really changing very much in the the next 5 years.
Is that what goes on? There's a lot of sentimentality of gosh, this guy's just only got a couple more years left, and then he's off, and yeah, he kind of deserved it, but like someone like Bonds, if the steroid thing wasn't in there, he'd be 100% for sure in. So you know what I mean? It's like how, because you wonder, okay, why are his numbers going up? Well, it's partly because of what Bruce said, but I think I'm guessing that part of it is the sentimentality.
That's why the guys who voted against him are now changing their mind later because they're figuring, okay, he's paid his price.
Yeah,
well, that's an interesting theory. I don't know if does that bear any. You think there's some truth to that, Barry? That older guys that like yourself who didn't care for Bonds and were not going to vote for him might be a little less, intransient towards him as the years move on.
Now, I think basically the population, being a minority, and the anti-steroid is pretty much set in stone. Not going to change.
Not going to change.
There's
Okay.
not going to be any sentimentality towards Bonds because of the type of person he was, and that you illustrate going into the whole interview. I mean, Clemens for most of his career was pretty much the same. And although Kevin Clemens was smart enough near the end to recognize that he was going to need these writers, and he catered to them quite a bit after he got to New York. I thought he was quite a different person than early in his career when he was in London. Bonds really never made that adjustment, and I just think it's going to be, some of the people, basically looked at it and said, well, Bud Still's got to do the whole thing. He overlooked this whole thing, which was kind of ridiculous. Why are we keeping Bonds and Clemens out?
Yeah.
And then, I think a greater argument, really, LaRussa, Cox, and Corey, who all played these players and took advantage of them, no one more so than LaRussa when he was with both the A's and the Cardinals. They profited by this Scott Hall thing. Why are we keeping the defensive there out?
That's a good point.
More view in that than there is in the overall. But to get back to your question, with 5 years to go, I think it's going to be close, and I'm not sure that now they're going to get another 10% every year. It might be a great.
It's going to be very interesting. Barry, thanks so much. We really appreciate you being with us, and it's always a pleasure catching up with you, and I'm sure we'll see you during the baseball season.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks again, Barry.
All right, Barry Bloom from MLB.com, and I thought he made a good point when he said that the number of young people coming into the game today that are covering it, they have a more forgiving attitude because they weren't around and they didn't deal with Bonds.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, last trivia question. Name 4 baseball players whose faces have been displayed on U.S. postage stamps. All right,
good
stay
one.
with us. Sports Econ 101 will be back with some closing comments.
I think I know the answer to that.
Really?
Well,
Pretty good.
I'm going to take a shot at it. You hanging in there?
Yeah, barely.
I'm gonna go home and take a nap, my boy. I stayed up after the game last night to watch. I am addicted to that show, Law and Order, the old show.
Oh,
And they have it on. You can get it on your cable for free. You can just watch as many as you want. So I watched 2 of them, and then I finally looked at the screen. I go, oh my God, it's 12 o'clock. I gotta get to bed. 6 o'clock, my wife makes me up. It's time to get up. You gotta climb into bed with Molly for a few minutes, and then you guys have to have breakfast. I'm like, ah. So I only had 6 hours of sleep last night, so I gotta go home and take a nap.
good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know some of these shows, it's pretty easy to binge watch.
Oh God, yeah. Another one I really like, if you ever have a chance to see it, I don't know if you can get it for free, but it's a terrific show, is Homeland.
I've heard that name.
It's about a woman. Claire Danes is the gal's name. She's in her 30s now, and she plays an intelligence officer in Iraq during the war. And it's all about what's going on in Iraq and Afghanistan behind the scenes, with terrorism. And there's a guy, I guess, who comes home from the front, and he's been held captive by Al Qaeda for like 3 years, and they brainwashed him. And he's an agent now, and so his family doesn't know. She knows, and he knows that she knows, but they played this little cat and mouse game. It's,
Oh,
it's
wow.
really cool, yeah. Cool movie, cool show.
All right, let's finish this bad boy.
Finish it out. Here we go.
Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Here's our last trivia question. Name 4 baseball players whose faces have been displayed on U.S. postage stamps.
I'm going to take a shot at this. I'm going to name 5 and see if 4 of them are out.
Okay.
Willie Mays,
No,
Mickey Mantle,
no,
Jackie Robinson,
yes,
Hank Aaron,
no,
Babe Ruth.
yes.
Okay, that's 2. So Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron. Ty Cobb?
No, Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson.
Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
Ty Cobb?
No,
Hank Aaron?
no. It wasn't Hank Aaron the first time. It's not him the second time.
Lou Gehrig?
Lou Gehrig, yes.
Oh, there's Lou Gehrig. Okay. So Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, and Jackie Robinson. And who would the 4th one be? Andy Koufax?
No,
Christy Mathewson?
no, but it was somebody who.
A pitcher?
No, right fielder.
A right field? What era?
This late 50s and 60s
Late?
and early 70s
Oh, geez, I should know
for the
this.
Pirates.
Oh, Roberto Clemente.
Roberto
Clemente. He was quite a kid. You know, he was killed when he was 39 years old in that plane crash. He probably could have played a few more years.
Last day of 1972.
Yeah. He was on a mission of mercy to Nicaragua that had an earthquake, and he was flying supplies down there in a plane that was overloaded. And yeah. And he was paying for the whole thing out of his own pocket. Yeah, that's the kind of guy he was.
All right, well, we're going to go to our thoughts for the day.
Thoughts for the day. Here we go.
Be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are.
Now, that sounds like good words of advice for Donald Trump.
Yeah, and that was from Coach John Wooden.
John Wooden, see?
Okay.
Good guy to listen to.
Dave Barry, you know him.
Sure.
He said, although golf was originally restricted to wealthy, overweight Protestants, today it's open to anybody who owns hideous clothing.
I love that. That's good.
Pretty good.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective. We're also going to be asking some more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
Another one. But, Gus, you realize we've been doing this show now for 3.5 years almost?
Yes.
I
Oh
think
my
it was in the
gosh.
spring of...
It was May of 2013.
Yeah.